Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to this edition of Happy Hour. So, I would like to invite us to explore the practice of presence this session, and presence with curiosity, not assuming or not forcing anything in particular, but a stance of interest, curiosity, um, of of being with. And let me give you a couple of pointers as to what I mean. Um, so so I'd like to invite us to explore the way we pay attention in a nuanced way. So for example, are we paying attention to our breath in order to make it a particular way? And it can be very, very subtle what I'm inviting us to explore. Um, are we paying attention to our emotions, to our heart space, in order to dampen it, make it okay, to get rid of it, rather, to get rid of it? Is there an agenda? It's a very subtle agenda. And just to back up, um, perhaps a question to sit with is there are two modes of meditation. One is noticing, being with, really allowing with any agenda, simply noticing and seeing what is. And only through this way of being, only when we have really seen the ways we make and we force, we don't accept reality, only after we have um, seen this, then we are able to master the second type of skillful means of meditation, which is um, cultivating, which is, for example, practice of thought replacement. There are teachings in Buddhism on that. But the question always comes up, should I just observe or should I change? Well, changing or cultivating or shifting becomes it, so both of these practices are available in the Buddhist canon. However, not until we have mastered being with, we have mastered seeing clearly with no agenda, or seeing our agenda that, oh yeah, I'm paying attention to my backache in order to make it stop. Like, yeah, I have an agenda, or my heartache, so that it just goes away. After you've seen the agenda and softened and really released into being okay with not being okay, then it's it's wholesome. Then the mind is trained to shift and turn. But if you try to shift and turn before you've mastered being with, it might become an aversion practice. Oh yeah, yeah, I want to get rid of this. So and not to say that the cultivation practice, the cultivation of the heart in metta is an aversion practice. I'm not equating that at all. But what I'm saying is there are some times that if we're not careful, the practice of metta or any other practice can become a big hammer, can become a hammer that we're trying to get rid of uncomfortable feelings without holding them and being okay with them first. So just a very subtle shift that or subtle curiosity, interest that comes up for many practitioners. And I've had this question before, and I've seen it in my own practice before. So, hope this makes sense. And if it doesn't, don't worry. Drop all the thoughts and what is she talking about? I'll lead us into a session of stability and presence with a sense of openness and curiosity of being with what is. And yeah, maybe we'll start there and we'll see where it goes. Okay, great. All right, thank you all. So let's begin. Let's formally begin. arriving, arriving and landing in our posture. It's helpful to have an upright posture. It's helpful to have our feet flat on the earth, firmly planted, and to have our chest open. Sense of openness to possibility, to life. Yes, this too, this too. And allowing, inviting the body to feel itself, to be felt, to be sensed from the inside. Inviting the shoulders, the neck to be soft, the heart to be soft. So the posture is holding both stability, integrity, with the way we sit and hold ourselves tall. And yet there's softness and gentleness in the heart. Strong back, soft heart, strong back, strong torso, soft belly. And allowing the breath to be known, the whole body, the sensations of the breath. Let it be known. In breath and the out breath. And notice the quality of attention, the quality of knowing. Is the knowing imbued with curiosity, patience, or does it have an agenda to make something go away or make it a particular way? Be curious and spacious. Spaciously know the quality of knowing. Be more practical. How is the breath being known? Can it be just as it is? And if thoughts are arising, so many thoughts, past, future, and present, be spaciously interested in the quality of being entangled in thoughts. Are we addictively entangled? Are we absent-mindedly entangled? What's the quality? And after we know, we see and recognize, inviting awareness to know the breath. Simply calming, soothing breath. However it shows up, deep or shallow. Notice that as we spaciously become curious about the quality of knowing, the heart and mind feel more spacious. Knowing itself becomes more spacious, more stable, more grounded. This aspect of gentle curiosity, kind, gentle interest. Maybe the word interest works better for some. Interest, gentle, spacious interest, imbues our whole experience with spacious, gentle interest, which is an aspect of care, metta, love. Spacious, gentle interest. Spacious, gentle interest. What is this human experience in this moment, in this body, this mind and heart? Spacious, gentle interest without an agenda. If there's any experience in the emotional realm present, or in the body, maybe pain or discomfort, can we bring spacious, gentle interest to the experience, whatever experience is present? Or maybe just the breath is known. You can explore, experiment with substituting gentle with kind, maybe spacious, kind presence or interest, spacious, friendly interest or presence. See what works best for you. And it might shift and change. And as we turn to bring this meditation to a close, meeting ourselves, our attitude, with spacious, friendly, relaxed interest. Noticing what's arising and bowing, appreciating whatever is arising, knowing it, and trusting there is seeds of wholesome knowing, a different kind of relationship to ourselves and therefore to others in the world. These seeds being planted with kindness and generosity, offering the goodness of our practice to all beings. May all beings everywhere be well, happy and free, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your practice. So, this way of attending, this way of knowing this practice is very gentle, seems like a very subtle practice, but it's very powerful. Because as we really open up to this gentle, spacious, friendly presence, interest, curiosity, is very spacious, very open, we start to see with friendliness, with kindness, without judgment, some of the assumptions that we have, some of the attitudes we have, some of the pains and aches that we have, and it shifts our relationship to them. It wakes us up from being in the middle of them, caught in them, to a different relationship to them. This is very powerful, and it helps to hang in here with that attitude of knowing and spacious, friendly, gentle presence. It's not a big bang hammer approach. It's a very gentle um, opening to seeing things perhaps that we usually don't see because they're so subtle in our assumptions, etc. Um, I wonder if some showed up for you. Anyway, before we head to groups, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to open chat and ask you, was there a particular phrasing of the invitations that worked for you? You were invited to shift them and change them, any of the words. And if you're like to put them in chat, that would be nice seeding for the community. The words I had offered were spacious, gentle, curiosity, and then later spacious, friendly, interest, kind. Oh, great, kind interest. One of you said kind, just the word that helped. Great. And you can send them directly to me or the whole community if you wish. Kind. I love, yeah. Bringing kindness was very helpful for me. Yeah, nice. Thank you. The second vote for kindness. It's lovely. Yeah, just suggestions for spaciousness was enough with a gentle, kindly attitude. Another reflection. What worked for me was the repetition. You kept repeating the phrases. Nice, the repetition. Yeah, nice. One of you says, as it is. Great. One of you says, generous interpretation. Interest helps spur some opening. Nice. Love it. On YouTube, one of our friends says, open, gentle interest. Great. The word open, love it. Spaciousness, says another fellow practitioner. I love it. And I love how we've shifted and changed the words to work for us in any way that supported us. Yeah, that's great. And I trust there's more that perhaps became available, seeing yeah, things that were perhaps in the midst of or something else that was holding that just kind of got soft with this open, spacious, gentle interest to bring more kindness, stability, to help ourselves, support ourselves and others. So now I'd like to invite us to enter into the practice of metta, METTA, in small groups. So the happy hour breakout room guidance, I will put it in chat. Here we go. And the invitation is to practice metta for ourselves and others, mindfully speaking and listening, really treating the breakout groups as an extension of of the sitting practice, embracing compassion if any internal resistance or reaction or discomfort comes up, internal, external, to hold it with kindness, compassion. Stay on topic, and the topic is this first round. I'd like to invite you to share, if you would, what word or phrase was helpful for you, and just offer that as support for you to be held witness. Nobody has to be right or wrong. There's no word or phrase that's better than any other. It's all whatever works. But it's just a way of being held witness. And the second round in the group, the invitation is, if you feel like it, you can reflect out loud if there was something that became clear with this way of seeing. Um, so I'll share with you that a few days ago I was practicing, and I noticed the way I was being with my breath was, but it was just a little force, was a little, even though I was just being with it supposedly the way it was. When I shifted to the stance of open, gentle curiosity, then I noticed, oh, there was just a tiny bit of agenda, tiny little bit to make the breath, fuller, more whatever. It's like, oh, that's not needed. It was so subtle. Or, for example, seeing an attitude in the mind that uh, maybe the mind and the heart were a little cranky or a little midst of, conversation that or something that had happened earlier. Like, oh, wow, that's still resonating. Not needed. Not needed. So these very subtle things that can see when we open um, with this attitude of spacious. So stay on this topic. So first round, sharing the words, if you like. The second round, if there's any opening or something that showed up for you, you're welcome to share. Or if not, you're welcome to say pass or hold silent space. It's okay. You don't have to talk. And please take turns briefly so everyone can speak, and avoiding crosstalk and giving each other advice. Just, oh, I see the rest of it didn't get copied, but that's good enough. Avoiding crosstalk and commenting, interrupting, just staying with your own practice, really sharing for our own sake. So be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and really the breakout groups is where the rubber meets the road in these days, especially with what has been happening in this country. Community is so important. Finding, um, yeah, finding support, and even if we don't directly offer support about the events of the world, just our kind, spacious presence is support enough. So please stay to the topic. All right. I'm going to create the breakout rooms and open them. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Here we go. Okay, welcome back, everyone. The rooms are closed. And Yeah, we have time and space for reflections, questions. How was the practice today for you? What did you discover, either in the silent practice or in the interactive practice? And also, apologies, I was trying to combine some of the smaller groups and got a little clunky. So if I moved you a little late after you had been starting to speak, my apologies. So I hope it was more nourishing to have more people to speak with than just one person. So, Audrey, please.
Thank you, Nikki. I was struck by something that you said about, I think you put it as putting aside the agenda. And I was wondering um, how that might be different from an intention.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate the question. So, yeah, what um what I mean by the agenda and how it's different from an intention is the following. Agenda is kind of a secret agenda somehow that we don't quite see, but it's operating and it's not necessarily very wholesome. Yeah. Does that is that enough? Does that clarify what I mean there and how it lands for you? Oh, you're muted. Sorry. Let's try that again.
Yet another subtlety to be try to notice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Does it land? Do you feel the
Oh
difference
yeah.
in your heart?
Well,
I love it. Oh yeah.
darn. Oh darn, another one I have to.
But they're lovely, right? When you explore, when you see them, like, wow, another layer of the onion. This is so cool and so interesting, this being human thing, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
the mind thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I'll tell you what one common one that happens, a very common one, for example, and again we discover all these different versions, but one common one is, the intention, the wholesome intention might be, um, say there is pain in the body, and my wholesome intention is to learn from it, to be with it, to cultivate kindness, compassion for myself and for others who are hurting. And that's a beautiful intention, right? And yet the agenda, which kind of might creep in, is like you notice, oh, I'm actually really paying attention in order to make it stop, make it go away now because I hate it and don't want to be here and I'm afraid of being sick and being in bed for the rest of the week. Like, oh, wow. Oh, I see you. So, for
Okay,
example,
thank you.
thank you. Thanks, Audrey. Great question. Neil.
Thanks. So at the very beginning, you talked about keeping track of, right, that when you pay attention to your breath, you're not trying to change it. And I find when I pay attention to my breath, it almost always changes, right?
Mhm.
And depending on where I pay attention to, depends on how it changes.
Yeah,
But I'm not trying to change it.
right.
So,
Yeah. So yes. Yes and yes. So this is it is absolutely true that when we attend to when we know the breath, and the mind and the heart settle, the breath shifts, it changes. Of course it does. Of course it does. That is different from what I'm saying. I'm saying that sometimes we do pay attention to the breath sometimes with an agenda. Sometimes, if we've had, say, training in pranayama to make the breath longer and subtle, to really notice the breath in a particular place. But sometimes the agenda, again, could be very subtle. So we can have a subtle agenda, so to notice that. But that's notwithstanding, even if you pay attention to the breath without any agenda, of course it settles. and it shifts. So these two are a bit orthogonal. So no problem here, Neil. Not
So
quite
I
sure.
find when I pay attention to my abdomen, my breath
Mm,
tends to be more abdomen-y. That's a word. And when I pay
yeah.
attention to my chest, it's the breath tends to be higher up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying that just happens.
Of course, that just happens. Not a problem. I think
Great.
there's no problems here. There's no issue here. This invitation to pay um to pay attention to the quality of paying attention
Mhm.
is to uncover any subtle unhelpful agendas that m- that might be there. There may be nothing, right? As you're
Okay.
reporting, there may be nothing, but there might be something that's subtly shifted. It's does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one direct message that came to me. Hi, Nikki. Sometimes negative story making can be very powerful, and knowing that it's negative, I can have trouble receiving it with openness. So, so negative story making. So, and feel free to write more because I'm gonna try to assume what the question is and comment on it. And if I get it wrong, please correct me. And if you feel comfortable, you can raise your hand, but not to put you on the spot. You can um, send me a message. So say I'm sitting and having this spacious quality of attention. I'm realizing, oh yeah, there is story making. It's like da 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 da. There's kind of like a negative story making, and oh, ouch. Can in that moment be either kindness, this gentle kindness that I'm offering when it comes to the pain of the story making, it naturally becomes compassion. It naturally becomes is this holding the gentle, spacious interest becomes a caring, gentle interest. Can it hold the negative story in ourselves in that way? That would be the invitation. Another another way to work with it is this gentle, spacious interest when it notices that, yeah, this is kind of a um, negative story. Can it really hold it with spaciousness? Like, it's okay. Yeah, causes and conditions. Lots of spaciousness. And then this negativity in the story can soften on its own and settle. So these are a couple of ways to work with it. And I hope that this addressed the question you were asking. If not, please thank you. The person says you are welcome. So we've just got a couple more minutes for any questions, reflections, maybe anything that came up in the small groups as you practice together. Going once, going twice. Fred.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you.
Hi.
So I guess I'm asking here, am I forcing am I forcing something or am I taking the opportunity? So last night I woke up 3 o'clock and I realized I'm not going to go back to sleep. I'm just really awake. Um, and I thought, well, I don't want to perseverate about that. I sort of felt my body as it was, and um, I thought, well, I'm just going to use this time and I'm going to direct goodwill to batches of people. And I really spent a long time doing that. And maybe I fell asleep at some point. I'm not sure, but it wasn't really a goal. Um, and that seems the reasonable thing to me to do, with an imperfect situation at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Absolutely, Fred. This is lovely. Thank you for sharing this. And and the nuance that you shared, which I loved, was, you know, I did this practice to take advantage of this opportunity. I'm awake, it's the middle of the night, cultivating, and it wasn't so much of an agenda. I might fall asleep. I know having a light heart can be helpful, but it wasn't so much like I'm doing this in order to fall asleep. So that agenda wasn't there. I'm hearing this. And yet what a wholesome way to to um to really cultivate, do the cultivation practice with with this hammer of an agenda. Again, intention. I'm going to bring back what Audrey brought, which is lovely. You had the intention of of using this time in the mold of the night. Yay, I'm awake. Yeah, what a great time to practice. I do this often too. I just put away sleep for a moment, like, yeah, I'm going to celebrate that I'm awake and practice. And and yeah, it's not because if there was the agenda of falling asleep, then it would be like, okay, am I asleep yet? I'm doing this meta thing, but I'm still awake, right? That's the difference. That's the difference between wholesome intention and agenda. And you beautifully brought it up with this example. They may be subtle, but they're not subtle at all, actually. To me, sounds very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. I really appreciate you sharing this. Yeah. And I realized I went over time. So I want to thank you all for your practice, for your sharing of yourself with one another, for the sake of all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going